Hi everyone, it's Op time. Hope you are all keeping well in this horrific bear market. Conscious I haven't done a video for some time, so I thought I would just do a fairly short video just walking you through how you can use Metamask's enhanced gas fee UI just to preset your gas on new mints, shaving some precious time off and meaning that you can send your transaction as soon as possible. So as you'll probably be aware, I think with Metamask's default UI, if I go into a transaction, say I send myself some Ethereum, let's do that, go to next, and then it has this estimated gas fee. I can edit that, but then, that's a little bit cumbersome. It's got the recommendations. I might choose medium, high, whatever, set my max priority fee, set my max fee. In a hype drop, that all takes time and means that I might fall behind other people who've already set their gas and have been able to send their transaction straight away. So a little bit annoying, but luckily for us, MetaMask recently, and I say recently, it's probably within the last few months, added a feature to MetaMask that allows you to preset your gas. So how do we access that? Well, if we go into the settings, so click this little circle up top, go to settings, then go to experimental here, and then there's just this little toggle here, enable enhanced gas fee UI. So we'll turn that on. Let's go back, and then let's try and run the same transaction again. So if I go to send here, I can put my address in again, click next, and you can see the gas fee UI looks a little bit different now. So we've got this little toggle here, this little fox with market. If we click into that, we can see it gives us 3 standard gas fee options, low, market, and aggressive. Low, if we look into that, it's for cheaper prices. It will send it probably a base fee and priority slightly less than the current market rate. And then when the market dies down a little bit, your transaction will go. It says 30 seconds, but that will obviously depend on the market. At the market rate, it does exactly what it sounds like. It sends it at the current market price to make sure that your transaction goes through kind of as soon as possible and within probably about 30 seconds. And then aggressive, high probability, will send your transaction at a slightly higher rate than market, which should hopefully mean that your transaction gets into the next block. So that's really useful as a default. You can often use those for kind of standard mints. But as we discussed before, if you're going for a hyped NFT drop, you're probably going to want to set your gas yourself ahead of time, which does 2 things. One, maximizes your chance of getting your transaction in the next block, but 2, it can also give you certainty as to the amount that you're going to pay in gas, so that you can better set your kind of, your starting price and how much you've actually paid for the mint, and then you can strategize as to your exit price. So if we go to advanced, we can see it's got max base fee and priority fee. Hopefully you generally know how those work, but just as a brief overview, base fee is one component of your gas that you have to pay in all transactions. It's basically the going rate for the market at the time based on the last few blocks, and that will change obviously as time goes on depending on what the market is currently doing. So if the market is congested, the standard base fee that you have to pay as part of your transaction will go up. If it's less congested, it will go down. On top of that, you have your priority fee, which is the second component of your the amount of gas you pay, and your priority fee is basically your tip to the miners to make them or incentivize them to put your transaction into the next block. Now, the priority fee is probably the key thing to note when you are in a hyped mint, because everyone will be trying to incentivize the miners to put their transaction in the next block. In terms of setting that priority fee, it's ultimately one for your own kind of research and risk appetite. You generally need to get a feel of what the market is likely to pay and the priority that they're going to be setting, and adjust yours accordingly. You can usually do that by considering, if I pay this amount of priority fee and this amount of gas, then this is the amount of extra gas I'll pay on the mint price, and then compare that to the market price of the NFT that you're minting. That's usually possible if, for example, there's been a whitelist mint before. And when that's the case, you can kind of consider, right, so if I use this gas, in total, I'll pay this amount, which would leave me, for example, 0.1 ETH for profit. And by looking at those profit margins, you can consider the maximum amount of priority fee that you can pay and still make a profit. And you'll generally know that the market will be thinking the same kind of thing, and that'll just allow you to consider what profit margins you want to set. So with all that in mind, just looking at these two boxes here, max base fee is kind of strangely worded, because your base fee will be whatever the market sets it at the time. When it says max base fee in my testing, what it actually means is the total amount of gas you're willing to pay, i.e. the network's base fee plus your priority fee. So it's very similar to the total fee that we used to have under the old UI. So to put that into an example, say for example, you set your priority fee at 250 and you set your max base fee at 250. That means that essentially the max amount that you will pay is 250, regardless of the network's current base fee. So that gives you a bit of certainty as to what exactly you will be spending. The only issue there is that actually, if for some reason the network's base fee spikes over 250, then it means that all you will be paying is 250. So your network probably won't, your transaction won't go through in the next block. On the flip side, say you set your priority fee at 250 and you set your max base fee at 500. If, for example, the network wasn't too congested, you set your priority fee at 250, the network's standard base fee at the time is 100. That means you would pay 350 in terms of your gas. However, if the network's base fee then spiked to 250, you will be paying your priority fee of 250 plus the network fee of the network base fee of 250, and that, because that is less than or equal to your max base fee of 500, you would be paying 500 in total. So hopefully that's a kind of whistle-stop tour of that. I'll probably do a video going through that more kind of carefully in more detail, but hopefully that makes sense. But anyway, so usually I will choose my max base fee and priority fee at the same level, which just allows you to be exactly sure as to how much you're going to pay. So say we set both of these at 500. That means that when the transaction goes through, the max amount I will definitely pay is a grey level of 500. Now, if we save these new values as default, so I click this, click save. Now you can see it's set the gas here, which is great. But now I'll recheck that and say we go into another transaction. And luckily I've got a Goblin Town here in OpenSea in another tab. So if I were to say buy this one now, I'll use quick buy on Super C. Now it's opened the transaction and you can see here it's used my advanced gas settings. So everything I've just set is all automatically there. And that means that I can just click confirm. I'm not going to do that here because I don't want to spend that much on a Goblin. But you can see that would be really useful if you are setting yourself up for a public drop, because it means that the moment you hit mint on the mint website or through Etherscan, your preset gas levels will be used, and you can just click confirm, crack on with your transaction, and hopefully that just shaves off those crucial seconds whilst everyone else is fiddling with their gas settings. So hopefully that's been really useful. I'd always be always happy to receive any feedback, so please do let me know if you've got any questions, queries, things you'd like me to go into in a little bit more detail. Also worth noting that Metamask has their own page on this, which goes into some of these things in a little bit more detail, so I'll link that in the description below. But yeah, hopefully that's been useful, and good luck with hitting some public mints. Thanks very much.